We're here to protect you and the ones that you love. It's a good feeling to know that our efforts aren't going unnoticed.
It actually brought tears to my eyes to know that we have this support.
You're welcome. I must just say, you're welcome. It's stressful, but we're not going anywhere.
Welcome to another edition of Bucknell Women's Lacrosse Through the Decades. Tonight we have the decade of 2010, the most recent Bucknell alums, and we're excited. We've got three great alums to join head coach Jackie Dando, as well as one of our current student athletes, Emma Cashwell. Emma is a junior midfielder from Garden City, New York. And Emma, thanks a lot for taking the time to join us. And as I mentioned, we've got some great alums. I'll introduce them in a second. But before I do that, I want to thank Geisinger as the sponsor for tonight's event. Geisinger has been absolutely fantastic throughout the entire pandemic on the front lines. And of course, Geisinger does a tremendous job day in and day out with our student athletes here at Bucknell. My name is Todd Newcomb, and I'm going to introduce each of our guests. I'm going to start with Katelyn Miller from the class of 2014, and I'll be using maiden names, by the way, just so you all at home can be familiar with that name that you watched when you were at Bucknell. So Katelyn Miller, 2014, she ranked second on the all-time points list at Bucknell with 177. She ranks tied for fifth on the all-time goals scored chart with 127. She's seventh on the all-time ground balls list with 131, fourth on the draws control list with 139, and second on the caused turnovers chart with 101. She was an All-Patriot League second-team selection in 2012, 2013, and 2014. She was a Patriot League All-Academic Team selection in those very same years, 2012, 2013, and 2014. She was the Patriot League Scholar Athlete of the Year, I'm sensing a theme here, for those very same years, 2012, 2013, and 2014. She was an IWLCA Scholar Athlete of the Year in 2014, and Katelyn won the Brian Humphreys Award at the Senior Awards Dinner. Our next guest from the class of 2017 is Annie Gilbertson. Annie was a team captain in both 2016 and 2017. She owns the school record for caused turnovers in a game with 8, which she did against Wagner in 2017. Ranks third on the caused turnovers career chart with 83, and she was an All-Patriot League second-team selection in both 2016 and 2017. And our final guest from the class of 2017 as well is Maddy Molinari. She was a team captain in 2016 and 2017. She ranked 7th on the all-time points list with 157. She ranks 8th on the all-time goals scored chart with 113. And she ranks 5th on the draws control list with 120. She was an All-Patriot League first-team selection in 2017, and Maddy won the Brian Humphreys Award at the Senior Awards Dinner. So, Jackie, some great talent on the call. I'm sure you wish they had some eligibility left. This is call. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, thanks, Todd. Hi, guys. Welcome. Thank you again for being here. So before we get started and we start sharing memories of our times on the field, I was hoping each of you could just update us on your plans after graduation. So where you are now, where you're living, your career, your family life, and anything else you wanted to share. So Katelyn, can you start us off?
Yeah, after I graduated from Bucknell, I stayed in school for this entire time. I went to dental school in Baltimore for 4 years, and then now I'm out in Pittsburgh doing orthodontic residency. I'll graduate in almost 3 months, and then our plan is to move back to Baltimore, where we'll be living close to family, and I am 3 days away from having my first baby. So really exciting stuff going on.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Annie?
Yeah, so after I graduated from Bucknell, I moved to New York City and started out at NBC Sports, actually. I was there for about 1.5 years, and then I moved over to Viacom, and I actually just started a new job today. Today was my first day. And I'm at a smaller startup company called Hawthorne. I'm on the growth marketing team. So I've been in New York since graduation and, living with friends. Actually, both my roommates went to Bucknell as well. So still seeing all of my, friends and classmates from there. So yeah, that's, I guess, the majority of what I've been up to.
I guess similar situation to Annie. Since graduating in 2017, I moved to New York City and lived with another Bucknell Lacrosse alumni. And I lived in the West Village, but because of Corona and everything, I've been out on Long Island, spending most of the recent months with my family, and especially my two nieces that are 5 and 2. And then for work, God, working from home has been so different lately, but I work for Warner Media, which falls under AT&T, and I'm an account manager.
Thank you, guys. So can you talk about taking us back to the beginning and tell us how you wound up at Bucknell and how you came to be on the lacrosse team? Annie, do you want to start?
Sure, yeah, I can start. So I probably just like, everybody else, played club lacrosse. I played for T3 in high school, and I had no idea where I wanted to go, and actually was, reached out to by the then head coach, Randall Goldsboro. And, I visited Bucknell. I was super excited about it. I really knew for a sport like lacrosse, I wanted to go to a school that prioritized academics. I didn't have many plans to continue my career per se after graduation, so I really wanted to go to a school I knew could prepare me well for, a professional career otherwise. So obviously that worked out, and, I really loved it. And it really was just that for me. You really felt like you were a student first, but then athletics was right behind that. And it was a great experience. And now here I am still in New York and working, a few years later. So yeah, it was great.
Maddy, how did you get to Bucknell?
So, funny story, my one close friend who ended up going to Bucknell and playing lacrosse, Christina Manis, who was in my grade, dragged me along to play at a fall clinic because she really wanted to go and she needed a few more teammates to play on her team. I think it was a 5v5 or something where she needed other people from home. So I played for Liberty, and we had both gone out there with 3 of her other good friends, and I'd never been to campus or anything. And just growing up with other family members that played lacrosse in college, I'd always considered it and definitely wanted to do it. And after going to Bucknell and seeing campus and understanding the well-balanced student-athlete life and the career opportunities that I learned through the management school, it was a no question. I fell in love with the small community feel and just the overall importance of athletics on campus and how it correlated to other programs on campus and our education as well.
Awesome. Katelyn?
So I didn't know much about the whole recruiting process when I started looking at colleges. So I started just looking at colleges. Mainly, I was looking around the size of Bucknell, and I like the story that probably so many people tell. I stepped onto the quad and I fell in love. And then I took a tour and I just loved everything about the campus. And I came back, I think I was like a junior in club lacrosse, and I told my coach, who knew the assistant coach at Bucknell, Megan Keelan, and was like, you've got to reach out to her. And so I messaged them. I met them at the next summer tournament that I was at, and everything fell in line. I came back, I think I visited twice, but I didn't need to come back because I knew that's where I wanted to be, and it all worked out.
Awesome. It's very appropriate because it's September 1st, so I am calling a lot of recruits today, guys.
Jeez. Wow.
Kind of fun to hear your stories too. So the next question is, can you talk about how you matured as a player on the field from the first day of preseason until senior year? Maddy, do you want to start us with this one?
Sure. So I guess it's kind of unique in each situation because myself and Annie and Katelyn, we're all recruited by different coaches, and there's been a lot of transition in our program. So I guess with me, the biggest thing from the first start of preseason to my senior year was just trusting the process and really, I guess, giving into not exactly the coaches, but giving into the team and the program that we were building and seeing the future from the start to the finish. So I really needed a trust in myself that I would personally develop and grow, and I could get those around me to jump on board to continue this program and get it to where I wanted it to be and where we were aiming to be. And that's obviously winning Patriot League championships. So I think just keeping my head straight and working towards things every day that was goal oriented.
Annie?
Yeah, I agree with, a lot of what Maddy was just saying. I think for me, I remember so specifically, like the transition from high school to college lacrosse was obviously huge. And I think I was just so intimidated by the idea of it initially. And I remember one of our first fall ball games, I was put on the field and someone passed me the ball and I was just running down the field and a girl came up to defend me from the other team. And I literally shouted out loud. I was so scared. I just think it was just in the moment, like I just, you're in high school and you watch college athletes and you aspire to be that. So I think I was just very intimidated initially by the whole process. But I think what really helped me, and it's similar to what Maddy said, was, just trusting the team. And I think once you start to bond more with your teammates and, start to develop a better relationship with your coaches, and for me, getting a better feel of our schedule and just adapting overall to school and lacrosse really helped me grow. I think just, gaining the trust of your teammates and building those relationships was really what propelled me into the player I was. Because, if you don't feel like your teammates trust you or vice versa, you just can't really get anywhere. So for me, it was really the relationships on the field and, that were developed during practice every single day that I think really helped me the most.
Katelyn, anything else?
I'd say that my freshman year was probably one of the most unique years that many teams have experienced. I came in and I think we had 5 upperclassmen and then the rest of the team was freshmen. We had a lot of people quit like right as I started. I was worried that we weren't even going to have a team. And I came from a really good high school where I was not a starter. I did not play that much and I played defense. And I came to college and I was thrown onto midfield because I like to run and we needed people to run. And I started and I was probably very scrawny, very weak, and very immature. I think that I probably let emotions get the best of me most of the time. And through just like watching our very few upperclassmen and just more experience on the field, more experience in the weight room, I got stronger physically probably and mentally, and that kind of helped me mature as a player, probably even just freshman year, but I think it took me probably 2 years to mature enough to really handle everything that we were thrown at. Also just it was hard my freshman year. We had all these new girls on the field. We'd never played together, but by the time we were a junior, everybody knew everybody's tendency, and that really helped us click and have a better season.
Great. Okay, I'm going to throw it to Emma for a question now.
Hi guys. So what advice would you give me or any other players about the college lacrosse experience at Bucknell? Annie, you can start.
Okay, I would definitely say, and this is like so cliche and cheesy, but I would just say have so much fun, because I look back on it and miss it so much. I haven't really played competitive lacrosse since I graduated. I didn't join any leagues or anything. And we really did have Katelyn's experience was extremely unique. And I think Maddy spoke to it. Ours was a bit unique freshman year too. And, in my answer, I spoke about relationships with teammates. And when I look back, I don't even really remember, there was tough losses, obviously, and there was amazing wins. But like the things I really remember the most were bus rides to away games, spending time together on campus the night before a game on a Saturday. So those were definitely my fondest memories. And, it just totally changed my entire college experience for the better. And I really just think about those moments the most. And that's what kept me the closest to my teammates, even after graduation. So I would just say enjoy the little things. And, if you go through a tough practice or a tough game, just kind of brush it off and think about the big picture of it all and why you're playing and why you're doing that every day. So that's what I would say.
Maddy, you want to go?
Similar experience and answer to Annie. Like, honestly, this is the best time of your life. Of course, you need to graduate and get a good degree and move and work towards a career. But honestly, like, you have like minimal responsibilities and you can enjoy just playing and getting through those running tests and everything. Just enjoy your friends and all those relationships that you're building, because it's literally the best time of your life. And I know people say it often, as Annie did, but like, you'll look back and say, oh my God, remember when we went through this workout and we got through it? Like, you'll talk about all those hardships, and all those hardships will translate into your real life and where we are now. And we look back and we say, wow, this is the lesson we learned from those. And it just like, take everything where you can and rely on the friendships that you build, and just continue with keeping your head up if times get difficult, because, you know, those challenges will only make you stronger, and just to really embrace any changes that come your way.
Katelyn, wrap it up.
Yeah, I think you guys said everything I was going to say. I mean, I miss it so much. I would just soak in every moment. You're not going to have that time where you get to be with your best friends like every single day, and like 5 a.m. lift or practice, like at the moment, like sounds so awful, but like when you're older and you have to wake up at 5 a.m. to work out on your own, and you don't have your best friends to do it with you, is really sad. So like, even in those times when you like hate what you're doing, just enjoy it, because you won't have that once you're gone.
I think we saw that during quarantine, right, Emma?
Yeah, definitely. We were definitely missing working out together and not having to follow the packet individually miles away.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, once you're on your own, like, you hate going to the weight room or like doing sprints, and then once you're gone, like, you end up doing that, but you do it just to stay in good shape, but it's not nearly as much fun because you're doing it on your own.
That, and it's not as motivating. I'm like, oh, I wish I had someone else just to get up with me.
Okay, what was your most memorable experience as a part of the Bucknell Lacrosse program? Katelyn, do you want to start us off?
Probably 2 games that stand out the most to me are in 2009 senior day. So I was a junior. My seniors had never won a Patriot League game, and it was their last home game, and we beat Holy Cross like in the last seconds, and it was like the most amazing experience to see for those girls who thought they might like be leaving Bucknell without a Patriot League win, to have that win. And then the next year we had Holy Cross again at home for senior day, for my senior day. And we ended up winning probably like at the last second again. And my husband was there, and 2 of our other guy friends who are now married to other Bucknell Lacrosse alums, they all rushed the field. And that was just really exciting. Just the whole senior day experience, probably like walking through the tunnel, seeing basically all of your 4 years combined into one moment. Just, I think that was probably my favorite. Yeah.
Annie, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm curious to see what Maddy says, just because we graduated the same year and so much of our experience was the same. But to Katelyn's point, I definitely think, oh, we have another person joining.
Yeah.
Should I keep going?
Sure. Hi, Madison.
I'm so sorry I'm late.
That's okay. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm just going to introduce you real quick, and then we'll get back to Annie so she can answer her question. So joining us now from the class of 2013 is Madison Hurwitz. She was team captain in 2012 and 2013. She ranks 10th on the career assist chart with 43 at Bucknell, and she was a Patriot League all-academic team selection in 2013. So, Madison, welcome. And we're in the middle of a question, and we'll get to you in just a minute.
Perfect.
Oh, wait, I also have a picture from that Holy Cross game that one of my co-residents printed out and has it on my operatory and it says how I feel when kids don't brush their teeth or when they break their braces. And this is the picture, and it's from that game, and it's like, I remember that moment so vividly. It was like the last 10 seconds, and it was like the greatest moment ever. But we still have that hanging up on our walls today. Okay, sorry, Annie, you can go now.
Okay. Yes, what I was just saying. Yeah, I was going to say definitely senior day was, of course, so memorable. It was just so much fun. You know, again, walking through the tunnel and seeing everyone painted these fun pictures and signs, and just having your parents come out on the field. that was just really great and just super rewarding going through all those 4 years to then do that. And I think in terms of specific games, I think Maddy would agree, was our senior year beating Villanova. In the preseason, it wasn't a Patriot League game, but we had such like a stiff competition with Villanova in the years before. I knew a lot of girls on the team. It was a always really competitive, really fun game to play, and beating them our senior year at Villanova was I just remember the moment of winning and the whole time, like that feeling sinking in. I don't remember how much time was on the clock, but there's like a moment in the game where you're like, we're going to win this. And you just kind of get that rush of excitement. And that was just so rewarding and so fun. And it just really, I felt like set the tone for the rest of my senior year season. So it just felt, really good to go into the rest of our games having that kind of confidence. And it was just such a fun game. So those are definitely two of the most memorable ones.
Maddy?
Annie, she took the cake on this one, but obviously Villanova was one of the most memorable games, I would have to say, my senior year in my career. But another one that stands out to me was our Navy game. I think it was either our junior year or senior year. I'm pretty sure it was our senior year. But up until then, we'd been playing Navy every year and just kind of not being able to compete. We'd lose the ball play after play, but then senior year, the first half is most memorable. Although we didn't win the game, the first half we were either tied or up or down by 1 at half. And it was just something that we felt. We were at Navy at the huge stadium. And I remember going in at half thinking like, okay, we can actually win this game. Like we're not just playing the game and finishing the game, we're actually competing and putting our best foot forward and actually standing with them. And at some points even playing better than them. And they were just having a really off day but in my heart, I think we just played our all in and we played great. And it's really allowed me to see and feel like the full glimpse of a program from games where we were getting crushed by Navy our freshman year. We were able to compete with them. And it just felt great and something I always think of.
Honestly, they still talked about that game this year, Maddy. Actually would say that sometimes. She's like, I'll never forget freshman year when we competed for this first half and maybe we didn't win the game, but that sense of competing, making good decisions, having the right mindset going into a game, I think, you were inspirational for them too, because they brought that up even 4 years later when we were seniors. So that's kind of neat.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hi, Madison. So we were just sharing memorable moments through your career.
Definitely Holy Cross, and I miss Kat's whole spiel about it. We did not have a winning record for many years when I played, and that Holy Cross game was awesome. And I think Kat and I still have many pictures of the two of us celebrating after goals and celebrating on the sidelines with our families. So that's number one for sure. Kat, I don't know if you remember this, but we had some good fall ball tournaments. And there was one where we were at Navy playing in a fall ball tournament and the weather was horrendous. And Adrian, one of our best friends, was in the doorway of our little shuttle bus, like getting changed. It was also freezing cold. And this bus drove by and the door was open and she got soaked. Do you remember that?
I do.
Completely soaked. On top of like getting crushed all day and it being pouring rain. But I think the memories off the field are what stick with us the most when we had such a tough record for so many years. But the Holy Cross game was awesome. We also were very competitive with Navy the one year that it snowed tremendously on the field, where our parents were out shoveling at halftime and shoveling during timeouts. So we kept the score pretty close because we didn't want to get hurt in the snow, but it was pretty cool to be that close with Navy when we were having such a tough season.
Hey, Jackie, we're good on time. Why don't you go back and ask Madison the first 2 questions?
Okay, so no pressure. But can you just update us first on your life and share where you are now and everything that's been going on?
Bucknell chair.
Nice.
Cool. I am a school psychologist. This is year 5 for me. I'm a head high school lacrosse coach at the school that I went to. So being there is really fun. I am a club coach for the Fantastics, also the club team that I played for. I just got a quarantine puppy. His name is Coach. He's a Bernedoodle. He's been a lot of fun, and I don't sleep anymore, but that's fine. Kat, you're going to have it worse than me in a little bit. What else? We got a shore house. My family and I are super close. We got a shore house last summer, just in time to all be quarantined together the last few months, so that's been awesome. Shore house is in North Wildwood, New Jersey, so anyone is welcome to visit. I think that's it.
And how did you wind up at Bucknell?
I think very early on in my search, my dad said that Bucknell would be a really good fit for me. I wanted a smaller school with good academics, Division I lacrosse, but not top tier, playing all the time, crazy lacrosse. It was between Lehigh and Bucknell towards the end, and Bucknell's look and feel just got the better of me. I didn't like the hills at Lehigh. I didn't like that you had to drive from the campus to the field every day. But very early on, I had my heart set on Patriot League and then Bucknell.
You made a good choice, Madison.
I know I did. Nice background. Looking good, Todd.
Do you guys have a teammate that you admired, and who is it, if you don't mind sharing, and why? Maddy, do you want to start this one?
Sure. I am not going to pick one specific teammate. I'm going to pick my entire class and just say that I don't think I would be where I am today, and I don't think the class of graduating, the success we saw with the program our junior and senior year would have been what it was without all of us included and contributing and making a difference in the program. I think each and every one of us added something new to the program, and to just raising the level of bar of play, and just honestly just making the team for what it is now. And honestly, Kat and Madison contributed so much to the program as well, and I'm sure they have other things they can talk on. But I think that our team and the people we were playing with my senior and junior year, and even the people my freshman and sophomore year, contributed a certain dynamic. And I think that Annie and myself can say that we wanted to leave a legacy and something that we could look onto and say that we made a difference. And I think that all of us added something, and each in our own way. So I think it's a contribution between the whole group.
Annie, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I definitely agree. Just we as a class, really grew together, and playing together our senior year with so many that had started together freshman year, making it to that point was just amazing. I guess I could, focus in a little bit more selfishly and say just the defensive unit as a whole. I guess I played defense, and I loved, being a defensive player on our team. I just thought the bond we all had, and how much pride we took in our position and as a group was a really fun thing to be a part of. And especially our goalies, I guess, without naming one person, I played with Elizabeth Duswalt was in my class, and then Jamie DeWitt came in when I was a junior. And she was just such a strong player, and I could never imagine being a goalie. So I think I just give credits to all goalies. There's just so much pressure, and that comes down on them, but, ultimately they were always able to, whether a shot went in or not, just pick their heads up and continue playing for all of us. And that's a tough position to play and play well. So I always admired them a lot. And, but yeah, I would say defense and goalies, those are, I have a soft spot for them.
Katelyn, anything else?
I would probably say the whole senior class, which was 3 people my freshman year. So they stuck through. They had a really tough 3 years leading up to their senior year, I think. And they all were just amazing role models. So that was Alyssa DeLorenz was our goalie, and she was amazing. And our defense had so many holes in it, and we did not help her in the way that we probably needed to. And she never gave up, so she was amazing. Ashley St. John was a leader on defense, and she knew that I was very immature and very emotional, and she was able to kind of talk me down whenever I got into my head. She always kept a positive attitude, And then Julia Braun probably had the greatest influence on me because we both played midfield, and she just threw her body into everything, on the field, in practice, in the weight room. She was the strongest player I've ever seen, and I just wanted to be like her. So she just really inspired me to give it my all at every moment. Yeah.
My turn.
Yep.
I would say Kat said the older girls, and I'm going to say Kat and her whole grade, plus my two-time roommate and co-captain Adrian. So when we came in as freshmen, I honestly don't remember how many recruits there were, maybe 6, maybe 7. But by the end of our, not even the end, maybe the end, sophomore year, a lot of girls had quit. So come when Randall came and took over, it was just Adrian and I. So the two of us were trying to figure out how to navigate getting a new coach and leading the team. And Kat's entire grade, they were all super close and they were so supportive. And they really rose up. So as a junior class, they were basically like seniors leading with us, and helping us navigate the transition from tough to, in the end, really great with Randall.
Thanks, guys. Okay, Emma, another question?
Yeah. What advice do you guys have about networking and finding the right job after college? Annie, do you want to start?
Sure. I was one of those people, I was a psychology major actually, and I, really loved that major. I didn't end up pursuing anything post-grad in psychology, but I actually really feel like that major has helped me a lot in the jobs that I have had. And in terms of networking, I mean, that was, again, like I didn't know what I wanted to do. I went to college just loving Bucknell, loving the environment, loving lacrosse, obviously, but I had never really honed in on like, oh, this is kind of my dream job, or this is what I know I want to do. So I relied really heavily on networking and reaching out to past players. I mean, using your team as a resource it was huge. I spoke to Chloe Chu, who at the time, she graduated 2015, I think. She was working at ESPN in New York City, and I kind of knew I wanted to maybe go into sports media or something along those lines. So she was a really great resource. Ultimately, I was at NBC Sports, so it was pretty close. But just speaking to people definitely within the lacrosse network, whether it turns into an opportunity or not, it's such great practice just with interviewing, and also, talking to one person can then connect you to 20 other people, obviously. So I would definitely lean into the lacrosse network. It's huge. And as you can see just from this call, we all do such different things, and I think can offer great advice. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Katelyn?
I'm not the best person to talk about networking because I've been in school since forever. But I say I took the easy way out because I just was like, from Bucknell, I applied to dental school. From dental school, I applied to residency. But at Bucknell, I didn't know much about the process. Applying to dental school was the same as applying to medical school. And the pre-med advisor, I don't know if she's still there. She was an amazing resource for me in just applying, figuring out where to apply, how to get my application to where I wanted it to be, what to put on my resume. Bucknell had such amazing resources for that, and that kind of got me to where I am. In terms of like networking, now that I'm looking for jobs, there's a lot of resources, I guess, in the orthodontic community, and that's how I've just been reaching out. I think just talking to anyone. I actually got an interview from one of my teammates. Her parents' neighbor is an orthodontist and was hiring, and it just so happened that like she put my name out there, and it's like connections that you wouldn't even know you had if you just talk to everyone and tell people where you're looking and what you want to do. Someone is going to know someone, and that is probably the best way to get a job, I think.
Maddy, you want to go?
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I think just honestly focusing on building like really strong relationships with the people you meet, and especially people of areas of interest that you're passionate about. I would just say ask as many questions as you can, and in one way or another, they'll lead you either to someone they know that is in the career that you're looking towards, or they'll have some recommendation. In regards to Bucknell and specific women's lacrosse, I would say I mean, you can always check and see what others are doing through LinkedIn and whatnot, and search through Bucknell and filter and whatnot. And you could see, like, even by company, who's working where. And I think Bucknell is such a close-knit school where you could reach out and not feel any, I guess, regret or not sure, uncertainty. And, like, you could definitely speak honestly, and they would give you a truthful response about what they do and whether or not it's a right fit for you.
Madison, you want to finish?
I completely agree with what the three of them said. They said it so well. I coach a lot of high schoolers, club and at my high school. I would just say don't hesitate to reach out. Like, oh, I haven't seen this person in years, or this person doesn't know who I am. Like, we are very passionate about what we do and the road that we took to get to where we are, and we love to talk about what we're passionate about. So don't hesitate to reach out because you're nervous or because you don't think we'll remember you or we don't know you. We don't care. We will happily advise you. I feel like the Bucknell community is just so close-knit. Like, oh, you're a Bucknellian? Great, I'm a Bucknellian. Let's talk. So don't hesitate to reach out would be the only thing that I would add.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys, the last question before we wrap up is if you have any advice to myself as the new head coach.
Do you want me to? I can start. Am I frozen? Okay. I would say just open communication with everyone. I feel like in the beginning when I started, we didn't have great communication. So there was just a lot of confusion. I actually read this book called Extreme Ownership by Jocko, some like Navy SEALs. I listened to an audio tape, I didn't read it, but it was actually really amazing. And it talks about leadership from the top down and from the bottom up. And if everyone's really clear with your intentions, it helps motivate the people underneath you, and then they will want to reciprocate kind of what you want. But also just supporting everyone on and off the field in whatever they're striving for, whether it be their academics, if they're searching for jobs, just being involved in their life beyond lacrosse, I think will create an environment that will then give back on the field as well.
Well said, Kat. I guess I can go. I agree with everything that she said. As a high school head coach, it's a lot of logistics, and it's so easy to get caught up in all of the things that you have to do. My assistant coach and my goalie coach are actually my dad and my sister. So they help really keep me grounded and remind me, you know, this is supposed to be fun. This is a passion of mine and of theirs. So on the tough days, I think you just have to look at the girls and be like, okay, you guys are all awesome. We're going to get through this. But I can relate to the fact that there is a lot behind the scenes that is very stressful. And I'm sure it's only more stressful at the college level, but just enjoy it. And I think if you're passionate about it and you're showing your passion and you're having fun, the girls will feed off of that positive energy.
Annie or Maddy?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with, you know, what was just said. I think it was definitely open communication was huge. As a captain junior and senior year, you know, a lot of your teammates would sort of funnel information to myself and Maddy and the other captains. So, and then we would kind of feed that into the coach. And I think sometimes that works really well. But other times making sure that, you know, teammates know that they can go directly to a coach is super important if it's about something that maybe they don't want to discuss with a captain, or if they just want to have an opportunity to speak with a coach. I think that's huge, and just, you know, adds to the level of comfort everybody feels on the team. And I think it will just encourage communication across the board, and that translates onto the field obviously as well. So I think that's a really good point.
Yeah, I would agree with everything that's been said. And then I guess like one important thing that I always learned as a player and like wanted from my coach was just like gaining the respect and trust of your players. So just like, I think that's really important, because until the rest of the team and yourself give into something, it's really hard to get everybody on board and to trust what you're saying in your process. So I think it's important to really show that personal connection and put in the effort to get everyone on board.
You're going to be great, Jackie. We're all going to follow your career.
Well, it was an okay start, and then COVID hit.
I know. It's all right. You'll get your chance.
Yep, we sure will, right, Emma?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, it was so nice to talk to you guys. I appreciate your time so much.
Me too.
All
Thanks
right,
for
guys,
having us.
before we wrap up, we do have a few minutes, and because we do, I'm going to take advantage of this rare opportunity, and I'm going to ask you guys to put Emma on the spot. Maybe if anybody has a question for Emma, maybe how the team has dealt with the whole COVID deal or how campus is going right now. We are fortunate that we are one of, I believe, 4 schools in the entire Patriot League that are in person in terms of being on campus. Ourselves, Colgate, Army, and Navy are the only 4, to my knowledge, that are in person this semester, and I think that's great. But maybe you guys have a question for Emma about how it's going.
Emma, I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
I heard that there are hotel blocks there for if kids get corona. Is that true?
Yeah, 2 of my friends are actually, they went in one last week. They don't have corona, but they were just like possibly like infected by someone who ended up testing negative. But they have like blocks, and basically as soon as you show any symptom, like you're directed to go, like literally drop everything and just like go there. You can't even stop at your dorm, and like you're supposed to have like a dorm to go bag ready for like your roommates to like deliver to you.
Wow, that's so interesting.
They've
It's a
actually,
good plan.
yeah, it is a good plan. It's kind of crazy, but
Yeah.
So are
escape.
you guys taking like half courses online and half in person?
It really depends like what you're taking. All 4 of mine are in person, but they're like all the college and management classes, so they're kind of small and like just like a tighter group of people that kind of are like in the same circle. But most of the courses in like liberal arts are all online and like a hybrid type structure.
How was your first practice back from quarantine?
We haven't had one actually yet, so it doesn't start. I think 2 weeks, Coach, the 15th or.
Yeah, they pushed us back a little bit. It's very different than last year or the years past, but we want to make sure they are social distancing and masking and situated on everything else before athletics was added.
Yeah, we're trying to like organize some like pickup games, but it's all like optional and like 10 people, so it's really small and unregulated so far.
So Katelyn, I can kind of get more on that too. So obviously we want to make sure first and foremost that our students are able to stay for the whole semester. So athletics has taken a stance where we are going to make sure that the first several weeks of the semester students are fitting in fine with your academics and the new system there, as well as Emma said, learning how to socially distance. And then the NCAA requires a 1-week period of conditioning for every program before they can start practice to begin with. And that can only happen with the strength and conditioning coach. It cannot happen with any of our coaches. So that happens. And then after that, because there are so many teams looking to practice and schedules are so very different because class schedules are so very different. Classes are all over the map in terms of when they are held, trying to, juggle the facility picture and get everybody some space to practice is really difficult. So we are phasing back in the sport programs in terms of when they can practice. And obviously we're going to keep our fingers crossed that this spring, Emma and Jackie have a competitive season and they're out there beating Patriot League opponents. So that's the plan.
We'll be there watching them.
I'm sure it'll be amazing once you guys get back on the field.
We were hoping to have an alumni game this year for the first time, guys, in the fall.
Oh, that's so sad.
I didn't say that, but we were.
So that's a great topic that Jackie just brought up. And Jackie and I have had discussions about this already. And you got to feel for Jackie being a brand new coach and then having the season pulled out from under her. Our volleyball coach, Tyler, got here in the beginning of March, and less than 2 weeks later, his team was gone. So he hadn't even really met his team. So both these coaches are in a situation where everything is new and they're really learning on the fly. And one of the things we definitely talked about was reuniting the women's lacrosse program. And it's so important to me that we try and get all the different decades of women's lacrosse back at an alumni type event, whether it's in the spring around a game or it's in the fall. I'm sure Jackie will be reaching out to you guys to get your feedback on that, because it's so important to get people back and then to reconnect the program. And that's part of what these Zoom calls are all about too. So we appreciate you guys being on.
We had one weekend, I think when Randall came back, because she coached at Bucknell like previously, that kind of reconnected a lot of alumni. And I remember one game, like 6 girls that had graduated probably like 6 years before my time. So like we never overlapped. They came to a game, they like stayed the weekend, we hung out with them all weekend, and it was so amazing to just like listen to their experiences. And we like never had that before. So I mean, I'd love to come up for an alumni game any day. Be fun.
Absolutely.
We will make
Anybody else have any questions for Coach or for Emma before we wrap up?
It's so nice to meet you guys. We hear about you.
Nice to meet you too.
So we want to thank you all for joining. First of all, Emma, thank you to you for taking the time out and joining us from the mods out there across Route 15. Best of luck with this semester, and hopefully, as I said, we'll keep our fingers crossed that you're playing games in the spring. We all wish that for you, obviously. And to the alums, ladies, thank you so much. First of all, Katelyn, good luck this week. We know you're going to have a great new baby a couple days from now. Everybody's excited about that. We're really happy for you. And Anthony, Maddy, and Madison, thanks again for joining us and for everything that you've done for the lacrosse program, both when you were here as student athletes and since you've left and into the future, because the program's only as strong as the lacrosse family, and we really hope to build on that. So thank you all for that. And to those of you that tuned in and watched tonight, thanks for doing so, and go Bison.